Make sure your thing is on.
Once again, my friends, it's Robert Antoinette along with the lovely
Constance Carter.
And we believe that for every situation,
there is a conversation.
Hashtag conversation starters live. What's going on, Constance Carter?
What's popping, Robert Antoinette?
Hey, listen, I think I just saw you not too long ago. You look pretty good on the video.
I seen you not too long ago either. Like, how did you just change clothes so quick and change your haircut?
I have no idea how that happened, sister.
It's crazy.
Look, let me tell you how real this is. I brought you in my home. Like, this is literally my living room.
That's what's up. That's dope. Like, I feel like I'm on the West Coast, you on the East Coast, and I feel like I'm already there. But I want to hop right into what we were just talking about, because after the broadcast, you and I were just talking about, what was going on in the world right now. And, we started talking about Ice Cube. And that seems to be in everybody's feed. Ice Cube. I hate Ice Cube. I'll never buy his album again. Ice Cube's working with the devil. Ice Cube's canceled. And I want to talk about that because I'm like, why are they canceling Ice Cube? Like, I think people, okay, what do you think about that? Because I'm gonna go off on a tangent. I just had a cup of coffee about 20 minutes ago, so I am ready to go.
Listen, you know what's interesting about what you said, Constance, is that whenever you take a stand, wherever you are, left, right, middle, up, down, people are going to judge you for that. And in this particular instance, my man Ice Cube, today was a good day. Maybe not so much for his PR, but what he did was he stood up, or he made a stand for Black America to improve the plight of people that are Black and brown. And he worked with the power structure. He worked with it. See, I'm speaking right now. He worked with the power structure that is available right now. And unfortunately, to the chagrin of over 70% of Americans, it is Donald J. You fill in the blank. Mm-hmm. And apparently, he talked to him about how to improve economic, social issues that affect Black and brown people.
Black people.
And the mere fact that he had the audacity to talk to the Prince of Confusion, the Commander-in-Chief, Petty Officer number 1, Donald J. And folks are not liking that at all.
Well, he talked to the people. He talked to the person he needed to talk to, because that's who's in control right now. Hello, people. Hello, Black people. Why are you mad at this man for talking to the person who is in charge right now, who could actually change some things? Now, I get it. Now, everybody knows, because I think everybody's looking at the news. They know that he presented it to both sides. Biden said, we'll look at it after the elections. Trump took the opportunity, because guess what he is? An opportunist, right? And he went ahead and met with them. And then they made sure right after the meeting, they tweeted it. Hey, thank you, Ice Cube, for coming over there and talk. So then that turned into Ice Cube endorses Donald Trump. And he said, I ain't endorsing this man. I never said I was endorsing him. I have an agenda for Black people. He didn't say brown people. And he was specifically saying, I don't want to say people of color, because Black people are the ones that have endured suffering, a certain kind of suffering in this country for 400 years. We have been most affected by the discrimination and systematic racism. So this is specifically for us. And I want to talk to whoever I can to get this agenda pushed forward. Why people are mad at him about it? Like, why are you mad about the man who could actually do it, even if he is an opportunist? And here's the thing I say. This is what I said to you, Robert. Keep it real. If you look at the stats, I don't care if you like it or not, Donald Trump has released more people from prison, more Black people from prison than my man Obama. So, I mean, if you talk about really effectuating change,
how sway?
I'm just saying.
Listen, you have statistics that do factually state that, right?
Yeah.
I can't verify, but I'm going to take you at your word.
Okay.
The mere implication that someone that is as pro-Black as Ice Cube is working with the man, that is going to be negatively received unless America gets to see the true context of what happened, right? Just think what happened maybe 3 years ago when your boy Yeezy went to the White House and told Donald Trump, like he was like his father. I mean, oof.
Yeah, he's doing. Yeah. It ain't nothing like that. It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
But Americans are quick to cancel people for their opinion. But here's the thing that I want you guys to realize: like throughout the history of this country, we have not been able to push an agenda forward, being Black people, by ourselves. We need allies. We know. Look, I know that this man, just like you said, is the author and the Prince of Confusion. We know he is a narcissist. He is not doing anything but helping himself. But on his way to help himself, if he can push an agenda that's going to help us, then why not? That's what I say. That's what I say. You know what I mean? So it's not about him working with them. Like simple-minded people are looking at the headlines only, and they're like, I can't believe it. I ain't never buying this meeting no more. I can't believe. I thought Ice Cube was down for the. He is down for the people, and that's why he is going to try to push this agenda forward. Problem is, people are looking at headlines only, and they're not looking at. Let's do this. Let's do this, Rob. Let's do this. Let's go to the video where he's actually talking about what he's doing and why he's doing it.
Before you do that, listen, if you're watching right now and the Conversation Starters live feed, we want to welcome you in from Fly Nubian Nation, wherever you're watching from. If you're in Philadelphia, if you're in Washington, D.C., if you're in L.A., if you're in Chicago, make sure that you put the city that you're representing right now in the feed. We want to shout you out. We want to make sure that you understand that this is not only an American issue, this is a global issue. That's right. It affects Black and brown people all around the world, but specifically here in these United States of America. Here you have Ice Cube, who has been a member of NWA and has been a successful entrepreneur, actor, filmmaker, director. He has taken the bold opportunity and stance to speak with the power structure about improving the plight of Black people. Let me say that again. He has taken the stance to talk to the person who's in office, who's in power right now, to improve the plight of people that look like you and me. Constance, you're real light skinned and I'm dark skinned, so you might not be able to understand what I'm saying, but Ice Cube is making the bold statement and speaking to the powers that be in order to make a bold new plan that will support Black America. Period. There are a lot of people who are very, very unhappy about that, but our people perish for lack of knowledge, for all my Bible readers out there. So until you know exactly what's happening out there, ladies and gentlemen, don't pass judgment. Don't cast a stone at Ice Cube. Let's go to the videotape Constance Quarter so we can see what's really popping.
All right, let's look and see what's really popping, because you know what? We need to clear the air and we need to just stay off of headlines and we need to get on some stuff that's really factual. What do you think?
Yeah.
The end game is to get a candidate to adopt this plan because it's needed for Black America. We all got our favorite candidate that we want to win, but the thing is, we need this done. No more time to talk. No more promises. That's the end game. It's to pressure the candidates to adapt some of the things that's in this plan that across the board, they all agree with.
I understand that you actually have sent it to somebody on Biden's team and you had some contact with them. How was it received?
We talked about a few things, making sure that fair amount of contracts, government contracts go to Black businesses. And I said Black specifically because the word minority has actually hurt us, because every minority usually gets something but us. I really want to focus on economics. This is something that we really need. I think economics could fix a lot of these other social problems. They're moving full speed on dealing with social issues. The same amount of energy needs to go into getting us out of this economic hole that Black people have found ourselves in generation after generation. We have to close this wealth gap. Both sides have contacted us, and what I see is both sides understand that something big needs to be done. What I think the Biden campaign should really be scared of is, Trump can actually do it. Like, he can try to implement it before the election. I'm ready to fight for Black people. I'm not concerned about too many other things right now. We've been concerned about so many other things and so many other issues that benefit everybody but us. And it's time for us to benefit. And somebody needs to step up to the plate and do it.
Come on now. Listen, we so caught up in Democrat, Republican. He has an agenda for Black people. And that's what it's not about political party. Y'all not seeing the bigger picture here. Can I let you in on a little secret? Let me let you in on a little secret, okay? Let me let you in on a little secret. Behind the black curtain, Democrats and Republicans are exactly the same. When those backdoor policies are made, it's the same thing. So they same outfit, same suit, different political affiliation. But at the end of the day, everybody's looking out for their own best interests. And we need to start looking out for ours rather than looking at a political party. Because think about it. A politician's only best interest is their only interest. I don't care about yours. So when we get somebody in there that actually cares, or not cares, but it's going to make a difference, because I don't care if they want to get elected or not. At the end of the day, if it's here to help us, then that's what we should be concerned with. Too concerned about political parties. Gives a damn. Come on, people, wake up. Wake up.
You tell him, Constance Carter. I just, the one thing that I really, really do try to do in my mature years is to understand people. I give them an opportunity to show me who they really are. I don't always listen to what they say, but I will watch what they do. Mm-hmm. And to your point, when you look at a political party, you kind of pigeonhole yourself to be this way or that way. The fact of the matter is that I'm conservative on some issues and I'm very liberal on other issues. So neither party really fully represents me and who I am. So I don't get hung up on a stump speech or any speech, a town hall debate. I listen to what they say, but I really, really pay attention to what they do. Mm-hmm. And so to your point, where Cube, made the bold step to take an action step and speak to the power structure that be right now. We know Donald J is the man. He can install judges. He can make whole cases go away, guilty or not. He's that dude. So if he is the person in power and he can affect change that will help your cause, your affiliation, why not have the conversation?
Absolutely.
I do struggle with my own isms and schisms about who I'm going to talk to, who I'm going to deal with. Like you remember growing up in high school, like I hang out with this crew, but I won't hang out with that crew. I'll talk to this person, but I won't talk to that person. Mm-hmm. And in my maturity, what I have found is, and this is going to sound real cliche, but I found it to be true. There are more things that bind us than separate us. Mm-hmm. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I do believe that Donald Trump has his presidency has successfully separated Americans as badly as it was probably 50, 60 years ago. So, 50s and 60s rolling around, Martin Luther King, the racism was still there. It was just hidden for 50 years. He brought it back full force. So to that, I'm not in agreement with Donald Trump. He is a narcissist. There's a lot of bad things wrong with Donald Trump. But at the end of the day, listen, you remember when I did my TED Talk, right? And in my TED Talk, I'm talking about closing the wealth gap. That's what my life is about. I want to know what you are doing, especially the people that says they cancel an Ice Cube. What are you doing to make a difference? Because this man actually has an agenda. But what are you doing? How are you going to close a wealth gap? What are you going to do differently? This man put something together and you want to cancel him. And the thing about people is, because watch this video called Socialnomics. It's a great video and it tells you how social media affects everybody's lifestyle. But understand,
what's the name of it, Constance?
Socialnomics, SOCIAL-nomics, Socialnomics. 30
One
seconds.
word.
Yeah,
One word.
Yeah, a 1 minute video or 2 minute video. It's a great video. I always show it to my agents, just talking about their business. But one of the things is I learned from this video, Socialnomics, is that we have the attention span of less than a goldfish. The goldfish's attention span is 8 seconds. Our attention span is 7 seconds. Our attention span is less than that of a goldfish. Why did I say that? It's because people are so concerned with what's on the headlines. Ain't nobody reading the context of what's really going on, and they're taking the headlines and they're running with it. And what they don't realize is they sound hella dumb. I ain't buying his music no more because he is endorsing Donald Trump. And he ain't never said that. He said, I got a plan for Black America. I'm bringing it to both sides. I want somebody to take this, adopt this, and make a difference, because I know that whoever's in power has the power to do so.
Well, Constance, what's interesting about that? So we want to shout out everybody that's out there in the feed. James Moore, we definitely want to shout you out. Big Chad O'Laughlin is in the building. Also, James Moore, Charles Johnson, everybody that is certainly concerned about this issue, because it is real and it is relevant, and you don't want to be left behind without having your voice in this particular conversation. So continue to share this out, continue to heart it up, like it. But more importantly, we want to hear from you in the feed. If you have an opinion about Ice Cube, if you have an opinion about his support for Black people, if you have an opinion about a political affiliation, if you have some action steps that you are making, watch this part. If you have some action steps that you are making to help better your people, your cause, or to close the economic wealth gap that we all should be aware of, please share it out so that the millions and millions of people who are watching Conversation Starters Live can have the benefit of whatever cause, whatever action that you are taking to affect change, not only in your household, but in your community, in your state, and around the country. So we'll shout you out. We'll give you your 5 minutes of fame. Just put it in the chat feed right now.
Well, look at what Christina said. What did Christina say?
She said, where was Cube during the primaries when this could have actually been integrated into the candidate platforms?
Mm-hmm. So because he didn't come out when you wanted him to come out, now all of a sudden it's irrelevant? Like, he just came out with this, about 4 months ago? So does that mean that this is not relevant? I mean, it doesn't matter. See, the people lose sight of the important issue. The important issue is he has a plan. Okay, you didn't do it last week. You sound like a jaded boyfriend. Like you trying to do something. Well, you didn't last week when I asked you to do it, you ain't do it. Well, I just thought about it today, honey. I didn't know last week. It wasn't on the tape. You know what I mean? So it's not a.
That was a bad example. That was a really bad example. But I got what you're trying to say.
Why was that a bad example?
Because you peered into the man-woman relationship thing, and how women is hot. Nah, it's cold. Roll the window up. Now roll it down. Put the covers on. Now take the covers off. I want it to be blue. Now I want it to be green. So that was a bad example, but I understand what you are saying. It doesn't matter if it was last month or last week. The mere fact that somebody stood up, took a stand, had an action plan, and wanted to enact it. I think that's what you're trying to say. The most important thing is that he took an action step.
Men speak Martian. So Doretha said, at least he's standing up. Go ahead. Marlon said he needed time to put it all together, right? So guys, we have to stop losing sight, and we're all not going to think the same. We are not homogeneous people. We all are going to think very differently about different topics and different subjects. So I think what happens is, because remember, Puffy almost got canceled, right? Remember Puffy got canceled because he said, don't just give away your vote, make them work for it. Do you remember that? People were mad at Puffy. I agree. We have to have an agenda. The LGBT community has an agenda, and guess what? They taking up that mantle. What women have an agenda, and guess what? They're taking up that mantle. So they need to take up our mantle too, because there have been so many things that have happened throughout the course of this country against African Americans, against Black folks, that have systemically prevented us from excelling in certain areas that needs to be reversed.
Yeah.
I love Bernie Sanders, but he says he doesn't believe in reparations.
Yeah. I didn't know that. You know,
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I ain't with that.
I was getting ready to say, don't talk about my dude, Bernie. Bernie is like, I would like to talk to you. That's my dude when he get excited.
I couldn't get with that, right? Because he, you know, I couldn't get with the fact that you know, of course you got 400 years of free labor. Then you have, you know, Jim Crow and redlining, predatory lending, specific things that were set up to make sure that Black people didn't have an advantage. They had homesteading where Black people were giving white people land from other countries. You go over to America, we'll give you land for free. When Black people were working this land for free for 150, 200 years and couldn't get nothing. But you're giving people from other countries free land to come over here. You know what I mean? So there were things that were put in place specifically to keep us oppressed that need to be addressed. And the reason why a lot of our communities are in the condition that it's in today are because of these systemic issues.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you say I don't believe in reparation, everybody needs to pick themselves up by their bootstraps. Out of here. When you was pushing us down. So the same people that was pushing us down, they need to work to pick us back up.
Well, I would like to shout out Mr. James Moore, who's on the green team. So he is absolutely supporting our capitalistic society and making sure that they will hear your voice if you are on the green team. And you know, one of the things that I want to shout out is that we have some folks who are absolutely commenting in the feed, and one of the things that they're doing is saying that Manny Cash, I don't know where you're representing from, Manny, but you said that Kamala Harris does not support reparations for Black folks. Now, Manny, I don't know if that's fact or whether that's an opinion, but you know, please speak on it. Let us know. Shoot us a video feed or shoot us some actual factual information that says that, because reparations is a sensitive subject for many, many people, whether you're Black, white, brown, or anywhere in between. The one thing that I can tell you, Constance, when you talked about redlining, Jim Crow, all of those things contribute to us still today. Mm-hmm. And for anybody who say y'all still talking about that, yes, we still talking about that. We still on that, mm-hmm. Right? Because if you go across the water in Europe, anybody that is of Jewish descent or of the Jewish faith, they still talking about that. They still get condolences. They still get reparations of sort economically, as far as land. They get concessions for what they suffered and endured. And it was an atrocity what happened to them. Genocide, mm-hmm. They wiped out a whole generation of people. Mm-hmm. Fast forward to America. We just celebrated a fake holiday. You know what that is, Constance?
Indigenous People Day?
That's not what I learned in school. They told me the Nina, the Pinta, and the whatchamacallit, as Malcolm X said, Christopher Columbus mm-hmm. discovered America. Mm-hmm.
Hey, can you just
they gave us a holiday for that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did you know that?
Yeah. You know, it's funny because you often hear people say, "Well, I didn't own slaves. You know, my grandparents didn't own slaves, but God damn it, you benefited from it. Your grandparents benefited from it. So." You benefited from it. We didn't. We are in a position that we are in because of it, and you are in the position that you are because of it. So yeah. Your ancestors, I don't care. Oh, my ancestors. How do you know your ancestors didn't own slaves? Because you got there's a whole bunch of, you know, like when I hear Black people say, my ancestors weren't even slaves. I didn't have slaves. So somebody in your line was probably a slave. Maybe the ones that you know what I mean? So maybe one of your ancestors, because there's a lot of them, may have owned slaves, but you've benefited from it.
Yeah.
The aftermath of it is we are suffering because of it. The beautiful thing, though, Robert Antonin, is that even though we had redlining, systematic racism, Jim Crow, and all of those things, still over 40% of Black and Hispanic households are homeowners. You know what I mean? Still, you know, we see a lot of Black and brown millionaires and billionaires. Even, you know, so, and that's not because. That's not just because America is so great, but that's just because we are a resilient people. And in spite of all of the obstacles that were put in our way to make sure that we failed, we still succeeded anyway. So I'm looking at it as a glass is half full. At the same time, we need to have an agenda specifically for us. So when James said, I'm on a green team, I'm with you, brother, because one of the things that Ice Cube said is a lot of these issues can be resolved because it's not just about black and white. At the end of the day, we know it's not just about black and white. It's about that green.
Yeah.
If you go back to Lyndon B. Johnson, what did he say? Because it's not, he said if you could take the best white man and convince him that he's better than the best colored man, he won't even know you're picking his pockets. In fact, give him somebody to look down to, and he'll give you everything he owns. Why did he say that? Keep them confused and fighting against each other so the rich could stay richer and the poor could stay poor, and they won't even know that we robbing them blind. So we got to stop looking at fighting each other and start looking at what can we do to work together, because it's really us against them. If it all came down to it, it's really all of us people who are not in power against the powers that be. But how do they stay in power? Keep everybody else confused, brother. That's what they got to do. So that's what it's about. So if we look at it economically and we say, okay, what can we do to start creating wealth in our families and in our communities and our cities, is going to make a difference. Donald Trump don't give a damn about poor white people. He gives a damn about this. At the end of the day, you got money to contribute to his political party, I got something for you. You like me, I like you. That's it. That's all he cares about.
Wow, you have simplified the entire political game in about 2 sentences. So if you're watching in Conversation Starters Live, we enjoy the engagement. We certainly allow the feedback, and we encourage you to be a part of this conversation, because, we're not talking about red, blue, and green. We are talking about issues and conversations that affect your very life. Mm-hmm. And if you don't understand right now the gravity of this moment, we're some 20 days away from November the 3rd. I encourage you to do one of 3 things. Number 1, get your little something out there and vote. Mm-hmm. I don't care if you do it by pigeon mail, if you do it in person, early ballot, but however you do it, make sure you vote. That's number 1. Number 2, encourage everybody that you know to vote. And then the third thing that I want to make sure that you do is to continue this conversation, because the conversation that you have with that one person may impact them to do something great with their lives. It may impact them to do something great within their community. It may impact them to do something great in their state. And more importantly, it may impact them to do something great around this country. Because what we need now are leaders who are able to step up and do just that, lead. We've done enough talking. We've done enough marching. We've done enough all those things. We need to do something that will change the economic structure of people that look like you and I. That's right. We need to make sure that we put action steps in place so that we can see the true change that we all want to see. And make no mistake, in the words of Constance Carter, ain't no political party that's out there for you.
That's real. That's real. That's real. So you challenged Manny Cash to go find the information about Kamala Harris.
He did.
You want to see it? Sure.
I mean, if you vetted it already.
I mean, I ain't seen it, so you want to go? Let's look at it. Let's look at it together. I couldn't really look at it while you was talking. So let's see. I mean, it's a YouTube video, and let's see what's really going on.
Oh, let's put a disclaimer out there. This video, whatever it's going to be, does not necessarily represent the thoughts, actions, and ideas or the position of Conversation Starters Live. We have actively invited you to come be a part of this broadcast. One of our viewers has given us a link to watch. So we're going to step out on faith, take a chance, and see actually what this video is all about.
Let's go.
Harris is the first Indian American U.S. senator.
And certainly to become the first Indian senator in U.S. history, which would be quite an accomplishment.
Not good.
Kamala Harris is the first Indian American woman
to run for Vice President's post.
Kamala Harris has scripted history as she won the U.S. Senate seat from the state, becoming the first Indian American to achieve this feat.
Kamala Harris, California's Attorney General, has also made history, becoming the first Indian American woman to be elected to the U.S. Senate.
Without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and you will well and faithfully discharge the duty of the office upon which you are about to help you God. You got some family out here?
Thank you. Come on, family. I'm excited too.
Like Trayvon, black hoodie on, QEP Newton, black revolution. I'm with a New York queen.
Come on, everybody.
Black
My extended family is
give me that black Tesla, black skid marks on the pavement. Cops want to see me in a black cage.
Do you support reparations for Black people?
Well, listen. Again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination, segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular, Black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that. And
2,000 years later.
I hate people.
Let's really be clear about that.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people. No.
Our defense relationship is critical to both nations, which is why I support the United States' commitment to provide Israel with $38 billion in military assistance over the next decade. And as I fight to promote human rights and security, Israel and the Jewish community will always be a priority for me. Why I support full funding for Israel, including for the Arrow, David Sling, and the Iron Dome missile defense system.
Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people. No.
And that's all.
So I think that video may have been edited.
So you need a freelancer.
So let's speak on it real quick. Let me just jump out the box really quickly here. To your point, it looks like it was edited, so we didn't get the full context of the interview. And one of the things that I really hate is that gotcha moment when someone asks a Black person in a political position, are they going to be biased towards Blacks and Blacks only? And I'm tired of the tap dancing that we have to do in order to appease non-Blacks. We don't want to appear as the angry Black woman or the angry Black man. Well, the fact of the matter is, if you're Black and you're not angry with some of the things that happen, and if you can't, in your own mind and in your own moment of being asked that question, say, yes, I want to do everything that I can to support Black Americans, up to and including providing reparations. In every major metropolitan city around the country, you can't tell me you can't find Chinatown. You might not know any other place in that city, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., Chicago, Atlanta, but I'll bet you can find Chinatown. I'll bet you that if you go anywhere around this country, there's a pretty good chance that there will be a large representation of synagogues and those of the Jewish faith. They are a part of the council, they're part of the political structure, and they have a say-so in the housing and economic structure of that city and that community. So when you are asked, future Black politician, future Black policymaker, have no shame in saying that I want to correct the wrongs that have happened for over 400 years to people that look like me. So if you're asking me if I'm for reparations, the answer is yes. If you want my defined answer about what that looks like, give me an opportunity to tell you that. But if you're asking me, am I pro-Black? The answer is yes. If you're asking me that I am for the upliftment of Black people, the answer is yes. If you ask me if I am looking to change the judicial structure for the betterment of Black people, the answer is yes. If you're asking me if I want to provide housing, land, economics for Black people, the answer is yes. Stand on that. Say it with your chest, because there's nothing wrong with supporting your community and your people.
That's dope. So as you were talking, I was doing a little research, just kind of looking for just, some articles about, where she stood on reparations. And the most that I see is that she was for studying reparations. So is Biden. What does that mean? I have no idea. But what it looks like is there's no real plan in place to talk about what that means. And at least Ice Cube had some kind of plan to close the wealth gap. And that's all it was about, brother. It was about a planned something, cohesive, instead of just talking about it, like you said, marching about it, complaining about it, sitting on your keyboard, complaining about Ice Cube. You should have did it here. Well, how come he didn't say this? And the plan don't cover this, and it don't support Black women. Oh, come on. Where are you going?
So Arian Armani Miller, I appreciate the comments that you made. There is something to be said in that when you're the president of the United States of America, that means that you're the president of all people, the ones that like you, the ones that don't like you, the ones that look like you, and the ones that don't look like you.
Absolutely.
And I remember when Barack Hussein Obama was in office, there was a huge disparity in what maybe he said behind closed doors and what he was allowed to say on camera. The one time when he stood up and he talked about Trayvon Martin, I applauded him. The one time that he was able to start a program, My Brother's Keeper, I applauded him. But there were so many things economically and socially that he could have done. Well, you know what? Forget about social. Forget about social. You might not like me for saying that, but I need you to do something that's going to economically help the Black folks. Socially, there are community activists that can do that, but if you want to really enact policy, help me with land, help me with housing, help me with economics. That's what's up, because those three systems that I just named were unfairly tilted the other way in 1801, in 1901, in 2001. So I need you to tip the scale back the other way.
You had plans, you had systems in place that directly pushed one group forward and directly push one group backwards. Understand that, right? So it's not a handout, because when you were homesteading property to other people, that wasn't a handout. When you were providing welfare to other people, hardworking Americans, when it first came out, that wasn't a handout, that was a hand up. But soon as the color of the people, the recipients, kind of integrated, didn't completely change, and it became a handout, then it became something wrong with it. But what I think, to Manny's point, and when I look at the interview, and just because you made me think about this, Barack wasn't the president to Black people, he was a president to all people. But when you're specific and you're saying, hey, look, I can't just be helping you, but I can help the Jews, but I'm not going to help you, but I can help, the Arabs, right? Why is it such a bad thing for them to be helping us specifically, for there to be an agenda for us specifically? Because for so long, it was the total opposite. Now let's go back to what Lyndon B. Johnson or what J. Edgar Hoover said was the biggest threat to America. What was that, Robert?
Black unity.
Negro unity. It's a plan from the higher ups to keep us divided, conquered, and oppressed. And if we can get that through our minds and understand that Donald Trump ain't no different than Biden, at the end of the day, he's just showing us the narcissist he is in front of. We're seeing it real time. At the end of the day, everybody's out for themselves.
Yeah. And you know, it's good that we're able to have this dialogue. But again, you know, what I'm looking for those of you who are watching, who are hanging with us, I want to know what you're doing in the community to change the plight of your community, the people that look like you. Mm-hmm. I want to know what you're doing, or you know somebody who's doing something that is positive, whether it's in education, whether it's in housing, whether it's in economics or entrepreneurship. You know, somebody who is certainly looking to change the dynamic, change the social structure, the economic structure of Black people. And it, you know, too many of us are ashamed to say Black people loud because it means it may offend somebody that's non-Black. Well, nobody really cares when they economically leave you out. Nobody cares when they educationally put you in substandard type conditions. Nobody cares when you don't have a seat at the table. So it's time for you to right now stand up, say it with your chest. More importantly, put your right foot in front of your left and take some action.
I'm glad you said seat at the table. I was thinking about one of my favorite TED Talks was with Melody Hobson. She's George Lucas's significant other, Black woman, and she owns Ariel Investments. And one of the things she said is, if you went to a Fortune 500 company and everybody on the board was Black, wouldn't you think something was weird about that? Everybody on the board is Black. That'd be kind of weird, right? But why isn't it weird when you go to a board meeting and everybody on the board is white? Why isn't that weird, right? Because we don't have a seat at the table most times. Again, that's by design, because people who look like the people who are on the board are going to look out for the people that look like them for their own best interest. So if you don't have a seat at the table, then you risk being on the menu. You want to say that one more again?
Say it again, rewind it.
If you don't have a seat at the table, then you risk being on the menu. And I know that, giving back, one of the things you said that I love so much, Robert, is put in the comments box what your plan for Black America is. What are you doing for Black America? How are you effectuating change in your community? If not in your community, if not on a larger scale in your families, what are you doing? And then we can have the conversation. But if you ain't doing to affect change nowhere, and you just sit behind your keyboard talking about, I don't like Ice Cube because he went to talk to y'all, like, shut up, dude. Really? Like,
no, Constance, you're so violent. I mean, the words that you use, I know when they go silent, they really have meaning.
You know what?
They do have meaning. But listen, here's something that I want everybody to do. I haven't seen anybody put anything in the comments, but if you are under the sound of my voice and you can't think of what to do, here are two things that I want you to do. Number one, make sure that you get life insurance, so that if you should happen to leave and go before the old Lord, that your children and the people behind you and the generations that you are supporting, your seeds, are taken care of.
All right.
Make sure that you go out and get insurance, right? We don't need any more GoFundMe pages or GoFundMe accounts. Get yourself some insurance. There's insurance for $9.99, for $19.99, for $29.99, or $99.99. This all depends on how much you want to leave behind when you leave here. And here's one thing that I want to tell you. I've never seen an armored truck full of money following a hearse to the cemetery. Make sure that your generations that come behind you are taken care of. So that's the first thing I want you to do. Go out and get you some insurance. If you're not a part of this conversation and this policy is just too much for you, get yourself some insurance. Yeah. Second thing I want you to do.
Tell them, Rob.
I want you to make sure that you go get yourself a piece of property. If you are in an apartment right now, if you are leasing or renting, make it your life cause and mission to go buy yourself some land. Go buy a single family home. Go buy something that you can own. Because one of the quickest things to get yourself in a place of wealth where your net worth will increase is if you own land. Yeah, go get you some property. Absolutely. So those are two things that I want you to do that can help shape your economy, your personal economy right now.
So what you
get some insurance and get some property.
You are absolutely right. That is why I am in real estate. But real estate changes the trajectory of a person's future. You know what you can do with you own property. First of all, it changes your mindset, but it also changes the possibilities. So, Robert, you are 100% right. If I see another Negro, I'm gonna say it one more time. If I see another Negro with a GoFundMe because they didn't get no life insurance, I'm not saying that. I will never say anything, but I'm just gonna silently shake my head. Because it's not like you don't know. If you're on social media, you know you've seen something that said you should have some life insurance. You've seen something. We can't say that we don't know no more. The chicken dinners, the car washes, the fundraisers have all turned into GoFundMes.
Let me find out. There's a shout out for V. Constance Carter and Catalyst Real Estate. Arian Armani Miller, you better go. You better go work. You are with Catalyst Real Estate Professionals. And beyond being an agent, you too are a property and a land owner. So high five from the East Coast. I applaud you. You need to find more people to do what you're doing. And you need to make sure you need to help people that look like you so they can get some land too. So they can have their 40 acres and
debut. Can I tell you about my baby Ariane? That's my baby. She's 23 years old, best-selling author, is a life insurance agent, is a real estate agent, just got her loan officer license. My baby is a motivational speaker. She's killing it. And the reason why she does what she does is so she can help people, specifically millennials, to build generational wealth. So she's doing all those things to help her community. She's dope. I love her. That's my baby. That's my baby, Ariane. Yes.
Yeah, I love it. And my Tyler Perry voice, she dope in real life.
Yeah, in real life. Facts.
In real life.
The house, teaching her babies the same thing. That's what we need to be teaching our kids. And that's the other thing too. And I know we got to get off this broadcast, Robert, but that's the other thing too, is not only making sure that you do it for yourself, do it for your children, but also educate your children on it. And a lot of people don't educate their children. We weren't educated because our parents didn't know. But now the information is out there. What can you do? You can GTS. What's GTS, Rob?
Google it.
Shit. I'll say it. Say it one more time.
Google it.
Shit.
Y'all know I can't say that because the Saints might be watching, and I got to be on the prayer line in the morning. And I know blessings can't come out of the same mouth that you got curses. So I'm going to pray for me and Constance. And
Shit
what I want you to know, Constance,
my auntie Dorothy said shit ain't a bad word. So anyway, you can Google anything you want. You can get all the information you can online. The information is out there at your fingertips. What did Michael Roberts say when we interviewed him? Michael Roberts, billionaire, black billionaire with a B. What did he tell us? We have what? More technology in the palm of our hands
than they had for the man that went to the moon.
When the man went to the moon, they didn't have as much technology back then as we have right now in the palm of our hands. So you can't tell me, people, that you don't know. Because all you got to do is GTS. GTS, Rob?
Google it.
Boom.
You know, you're going to get me in trouble with the Saints. But listen, Constance, I want to tell you something good I heard on the prayer line this morning. And I want to tell it to you right now because you're my friend. You're my super friend. You ready?
Yeah. He got to clean me up. Go ahead and clean me up, Rob.
You ready? Listen. Based on everything that we said tonight,
yes,
I want somebody to put this in the feed. Get this deep down in your shana. This for just you and your boo, you and your family.
Okay.
You ready for this, Constance?
Tell us about it.
If I got a dime, you got a nickel. Now, that might just go over your head. You understand? Half. Eddie. I want to make sure that you understand that if I got it, you got it. I'm going to make sure I look out for you. I'm going to break down what I got. I'm going to break bread with you so that you can have some. Each one teach one. And if I got anything, I'm going to make sure that I at least expose you to it if I just can't break it off in half with you. You understand? So if I got a dime, you got a nickel.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this: if I got a dime, you got a penny. I ain't gonna give you half of it, but I'm gonna give you some game. If I got a dime, I'm gonna show you where to get the dime so you can get your own dime. Teach them to fish, Robert.
What would Jesus do?
He would teach them to fish, Robert. Everybody giving away no
Paulo
money.
said he would just give it back.
Ain't nobody giving nobody out, Chet. What do you mean? You mean?
Cold world.
You gotta get your dime so you can have multiple. You can grow your money and not blow your money. Have multiple. I'm gonna show you that. So, Robert, I appreciate the prayer line, the information that y'all said on the prayer line. I don't know if that was biblically correct because I believe in teaching people how to fish, but it was good.
It's the principality of the thing in saying. Actually, we were talking about husband and wife sharing finances. We were talking about just making sure relationally that if I got some, you got some.
Absolutely.
So that is only what I meant to share.
You giving half to the community too, Rob? Is that what you doing? You giving half to the community also?
Yeah. When I give my time, when I give my attention, when I give my resources, when I give this knowledge that I got inside this big old head to help people to lead, to build teams, yeah.
I thought you was giving out money, homie. I thought you was giving out money.
Well, listen, if I got 10 cents, you got a nickel. You ain't heard me or not?
Oh,
heard me or not?
That's what's up. That's what's up. Okay, right on.
So listen, if you are listening to Conversation Starters Live, we want to let you know that God loves you and we do too. We hope that heaven continues to smile upon you. And today was your gift from God. What you do with it is your gift back to him. So make sure you love somebody, you hug somebody, tell somebody about Conversation Starters Live. Because my name is Robert Antonin, along with the lovely
Constance Carter.
And we believe that for every situation,
there is a conversation. I need to say this real quick.
Wait a minute. Can we finish the tagline? Then
Because you weren't in the broadcast. I didn't need to tell the people. Just because I said get out of here, I said Google that shit. I told people they need to get their shit together. I am still a Christian. And Jesus loves me too. Robert, I am not the heathen that you are trying to make me out to be. I love you guys.
Let me explain some. Father God, in the name of Jesus, pray for your daughter and all of the things that she says with passion and conviction. Forgive us, Lord, for sometimes we don't say what we mean, but we mean what we say, and it just doesn't come out the way we intended to. But in spite of all things, Lord, you just wash us and make us clean. Continue to shower us with your grace and your mercy so that we can go out and tell the whole world about your son, Jesus, and all that he did for us. And because he died, we all have the promise of eternal life in heaven with you forever. But until you call us to be with you, Lord, we just ask that you shine your light on us so that we can be a reflection of you. It is in the name of your son, Jesus, that we do and pray and give you thanks. Let every believer say amen, amen, and amen.
All right. Thank you, Rob.
I think that's a wrap.
I think it's a wrap too. Appreciate you.